warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. A very good morning to all of us. Excellencies, Governor of Bank Indonesia, Minister for Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, and Vice Minister for Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, Chairman of Indonesia Investment Coordinating Board, Head of Mission of the Republic of Indonesia to friendly countries, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia in Singapore, I would like to welcome all of you virtually to the grand launching of Road to Indonesia Investment Day, IID 2020. This launching is the initial phase of Indonesia Investment Day that will be conducted from August to October 2020. This event is also broadcasted live in the Embassy of Indonesia in Singapore YouTube channel, KBRI Singapura. I would like also to inform our fellow journalists. The question and answer session will be conducted at the end of this event and will be moderated by our very own distinguished female moderator, Ms. Valerina Daniel. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, now I may commence the event by inviting all of you participants of this meeting to watch the video from 3 foreign investors who share their stories and experiences of investing in Indonesia.
PT equals Jaya Indonesia used 3-hour fast-track system to obtain key approvals to set up recycling facilities in Indonesia. We were indeed pleasantly surprised when we obtained over 8 licenses within 3 hours, and officers of BKPM were present to ensure that the fast-track system went smoothly even during lunch hours. Since obtaining the basic licenses, BKPM team both in Singapore and Jakarta have guided us in selection of land, import procedure, and work permits. The BKPM team in Singapore has been very proactive to ensure that our project goes smoothly. We really appreciate their help.
To be involved in 2 important development initiatives between Singapore and Indonesia. The first one is BBK Free Trade region in the early 90s, where Sembcorp pioneered the development of Batam Indo Industrial Park, Bintan Industrial Estate, Karimun Marine Industrial Complex. The second one is more recently in Park by the Bay, Kedah, Central Java. We have been in operation in Indonesia for more than almost 30 years. The investment climate in Indonesia is improving. The government has introduced many programs, initiatives, which is positive for investment. Let me use Kedah Industrial Park as an example. The much improved connectivity from West Java to Semarang to East Java in terms of the highway upgrade, rail system upgrade. Semarang International Airport also undergoing upgrading program. Very soon, Kedah Port is going to be developed into an international hub. Not forgetting that there will be a polytechnic in the site of Kedah Industrial Park. This polytechnic will provide opportunity for skill upgrade.
Wenho industry have more than 40 years experience both in Hong Kong and China with around 1,000 workers.
In early 2019, and leveraging on the One Belt, One Road policy from China, we incorporated PT Wenho Industries Indonesia domiciled in Patang, Central Java.
Why Indonesia as a choice of investment destination by Wenho Group?
The political and economic stability and certainty are major factors.
Strong support from the government is greatly appreciated. Many thanks to the various incentives such as bond zone and tax allowance granted to us recently.
Vast land area is big business attraction, which allows us to execute current plans and allow us for potential development and growth in the near future.
With a population of over 260 million, availability of workers is another labor incentive industry. There are a lot of vocational institutions throughout Indonesia which will allow a steady supply of skilled workers.
Infrastructure investment by the government is highly praised. The new toll roads, seaports, and airports over the past few years opened new windows of opportunity for investors, and we are certainly benefiting from the Batam-Semarang Toll Road.
We are grateful for the warm welcome from the Indonesian central and regional governments, and we are definitely very excited about this new chapter for the One World Group.
Ladies and gentlemen, that were the videos from foreign investors sharing their experiences of doing investment in Indonesia. Now we have the honor to watch the remarks from Governor of Bank Indonesia, His Excellency Peri Warjio.
Ladies and gentlemen, at the back of COVID-19, Indonesia is determined to move forward its reform agenda to ensure that Indonesia will continue on the positive medium-term economic growth path. Stimulus in fiscal and monetary are underway for accelerating economic recovery from COVID-19. Structural reforms in priority sectors, manufacturing, infrastructure, tourism, and investment are also moving forward, among others, by finalization of Omnibus Law. Digitalization in economic finance also accelerating at the back of COVID-19. Bank Indonesia welcome and promoting the adoption of digitalization in economic and finance. And we believe this will support our reform agenda in moving Indonesia toward its long-term higher economic growth. In the area of payment system, the implementation of our blueprint of Indonesian Payment System 2025 progressing quite well. The adoption of QR Indonesian standard, digitalization of the banking and its interlink with the fintech, development of startup, e-commerce, those will be benefit from so much SME, small medium enterprises, and also retail market that has been untapped in Indonesia. We do believe digitalization of economic and finance, especially in promoting small and medium enterprises, will be new source of economic growth going forward. And Bank Indonesia will continue to ensure macroeconomic and financial stability as foundation for long-term and sustainable economic growth in Indonesia. On that note, Bank Indonesia proudly support the virtual promotion of opportunities from various regions of Indonesia. Bank Indonesia welcomes the third Indonesia Investment Day of 2020 and its series of events. So, join us at the third Indonesia Investment Day, and we welcome you to the vast investment opportunity and prospect Indonesia. Peri Warjio, Governor of Bank Indonesia, the Central Bank of Republic of Indonesia.
Thank you very much, Excellency. Now I have the honor to invite all of you to watch the remarks from the Minister for Foreign Affairs, Her Excellency Retno Marsudi.
Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues. There is no doubt that COVID-19 has adversely impacted our daily lives. The disruption it caused to the economy is also immense. IMF predicted a deeper slump to the global economy. ADB forecasted the slow growth of Southeast Asian economy. And ILO reported millions of job losses, including those in the informal sector. However, as the saying goes, in the midst of every crisis lies great opportunity. And to do this, we must adapt, adjust, and transform in the face of this new reality. Colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, the Indonesian government continues to work hard to deal with COVID-19 and revive the national economy. Just a few days ago, President Joko Widodo launched the Committee for COVID-19 Response and National Economic Recovery as part of a concerted, coordinated, and integrated effort to achieve these objectives. Consequently, the Indonesian diplomacy, our diplomacy, is also forced to rethink the conventional wisdom and adapt our approach of doing business. We must move beyond business as usual. Just recently, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs has designated a dedicated team to work closely with the Indonesian Investment Coordinating Agency or BKPM to assist incoming foreign investors and the Ministry of State-Owned Enterprises to promote Indonesia's outbound investment. Our event today also seeks to step up to that challenge. And today, I'm very happy to launch the Indonesia Investment Day 2020 platform. This platform will be the answer to cater the need of potential investor at the convenience of your mobile devices. From exploring potential areas of investment in 11 provinces in Indonesia, in agriculture sectors to infrastructure, and to having a direct engagement with local authorities to discuss ready-to-offer projects. I do hope that through our event today, we will be able to boost investment and promote economic growth as we navigate along the path to economic recovery. I thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, now we have the honor to watch the remarks from the Chairman of Indonesia Investment Coordinating Board, Mr. Bahlil Lahadalia.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera untuk kita semua. Shalom, Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya. Salam kebajikan. Saya Bahlil Lahadalia, Kepala Badan Koordinasi Penanaman Modal, mengundang saudara-saudara, para investor di wilayah ASEAN, khususnya di Singapura, untuk menggunakan platform Invest Indonesia sebagai sarana untuk merealisasikan rencana investasi saudara-saudara di Indonesia. Platform ini dapat Anda gunakan untuk mendapatkan informasi terbaru mengenai proyek-proyek investasi yang clean and clear yang ada di Indonesia. Informasi ini sudah diverifikasi dan sudah disajikan semata mungkin yang dilakukan oleh tim. Anda juga berkesempatan untuk berdiskusi langsung dengan para stakeholder di setiap proyek tersebut. Dan Anda dapat menyampaikan seluruh pertanyaan ataupun apa yang menjadi pikiran mengenai minat saudara-saudara dalam berinvestasi di Indonesia. Yakinlah bahwa BKPM akan selalu siap membantu dan memfasilitasi seluruh keperluan investor, mulai dari informasi potensi, investasi perizinan, maupun sampai dengan insentif yang tersedia. Saya yakin situs ini akan menjadi gerbang saudara-saudara untuk menjadi bagian dan kemajuan Indonesia melalui peningkatan investasi. Terima kasih, sukses, kami menunggu dengan senang hati.
Thank you very much, Excellency. Ladies and gentlemen, and all the distinguished participants, now I may have the honor to invite the Ambassador of the Republic of Indonesia to Singapore, His Excellency Ngurah Swajaya, to deliver his remarks and to officially launch the Road to Indonesia Investment Day 2020.
His Excellency, Mr. Peri Warjio, the Governor of the Indonesian Central Bank, Her Excellency, Ibu Retno Marsudi, Minister for Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Indonesia, Chairman of the Indonesian Coordinating Board, Bapak Bahlil Lahadalia, my fellow Head of Missions, distinguished participants, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Salam sejahtera bagi kita semua. Om Swastiastu, Namo Buddhaya, Salam Kebajikan. A very good morning to you all from Singapore. It has been a great honor to have Pak Peri Warjio, the Governor of the Central Bank of the Republic of Indonesia, Ibu Retno Marsudi, the Minister for Foreign Affairs, and my brother, Adinda Bahlil Lahadalia, for gracing this important event and for having their kind blessing to launch this event, A Road to Indonesia Investment Day 2020. I wish to also extend my warmest welcome to all of our friends, ambassadors, businesses from Indonesia, Singapore, and many other countries joining with us virtually this morning, Singapore time. Indonesia Investment Day is the flagship annual event of the Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia in Singapore. It has been organized successfully since 2018 and has attracted many stakeholders in Indonesia and investors based in Singapore, from also investors from many other countries to join the event. The event was uniquely designed to make one-day activities involving information sharing, ready to invest projects offering individual business matchings and investment clinics on many issues pertaining to investment. Most importantly is the involvement of different stakeholders and regional governments. I am grateful to the Indonesian Central Bank Governor, to the Investment Coordinating Board Chairman, and also to the Minister for Foreign Affairs for their continuing support and blessing for this event. This year, Indonesia Investment Day will be rather unique due to the challenging situation we are all facing. We are trying to improvise to send important messages on the momentum we could utilize despite the global pandemic that is still raging. Many countries, including Indonesia, are still focusing their energy to control the pandemic. However, economic recovery is also top in the agendas. Learning from the successful convening of the Indonesia Investment Day, we are using this year's opportunity to continue delivering important messages on our strong commitment to serve and attract foreign direct investment to the potential opportunities in Indonesia, with strong commitment to continuously improve business environment, including providing incentive, huge market nationally, domestically, as well as regionally, and also political stability. We are ready to serve as a global supply chain that has been disrupted with the geopolitical rivalries and the present pandemic. We understand the pandemic is unprecedented, and subsequently, it also brings about the economic crisis like no other. However, optimism and international cooperation should remain strong to overcome these challenges. Despite the uncertainty, I'm grateful to know investors' confidence remain very strong, and we have higher realization, around 58% in the first quarter of this year, if we compare this with the same period last year. Although we are still shadowed with slowdown in the economic situation for the second quarter, however, we are optimistic that the confidence is still very strong. In this context of the diversification of global supply chains, we note progress in also using Indonesia as their destination and also as important part of such crucial global supply chains with the ongoing projects which is now still taking place despite the situation that we are facing now. It is in this context, therefore, Indonesia Investment Day provide useful platform to facilitate interactions and realization of foreign direct investment to Indonesia. We are grateful to have 11 provinces participating and presented their businesses ready to offer projects to investors, and also we are glad to have their readiness to facilitate foreign direct investment to come. We are also very proud to present the website for investors to surf and also to study all of those projects, and then also having contact directly with company's owner if you are interested in one of those projects. The platform will also be used to organize series of weekly webinars presenting different regional government, and we encourage you to register and participate if you are interested in one of those webinars. The series of webinars will be held from August to October 2020, and it will be culminated in the Indonesian Investment Day 2020 to be held in October. Please make use and explore further by visiting Invest Indonesia website. And now, at this very auspicious occasion, and certainly with the blessing of our Minister for Foreign Affairs, the Central Bank Governor, and also the Chairman of the Investment Coordinating Board, I wish to officially launch the Road to Indonesia Investment Day 2020 and the website of Indonesia Investment Day 2020. Thank you very much.
Welcome to the third Indonesia Investment Days website. As the Indonesian flagship event for enhancing foreign direct investment from Singapore to Indonesia, the third Indonesia Investment Day will have virtual activities like never before. Weekly webinar with representatives from regional government across Indonesia presenting ready to offer project. The main event itself, which is the third Indonesia Investment Day, with special event keynote from high-level government officials. With virtual investment clinic and one-on-one meeting, this event will also be your one-stop solution to fulfill your interests investing in Indonesia. Through this website, you can discover the latest investment opportunities in Indonesia, accessing ready-to-offer projects, and interact with government representatives virtually. All of this by a single click to www.investindonesia.sg.
Congratulations for the official virtual opening of Road to Indonesia Investment Day 2020, marked by the launch of Indonesia Investment Day 2020 website. This is the initial phase of a series of programs that will be conducted from August to October 2020. Good morning, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Valena Daniel. I am honored to be the moderator for today's Q&A session with the Ambassador of the Republic of Indonesia to Singapore, His Excellency Ngurah Swajaya. Thank you for being with us today.
Good morning. Thank you very much for.
I'd like to highlight some key points from the remarks previously that we've already seen. The chairman of Indonesia's Investment Coordinating Board shared important achievement that 7 foreign companies had confirmed plans to relocate production facilities to Indonesia, an encouraging signal for the country's investment climate amid the COVID-19 pandemic. And then the governor of Central Bank of Indonesia emphasized the importance of adopting new technology and digitalization in various investment opportunities in Indonesia. And this is a good thing because it will create additional value add to the economy. Lastly, Minister of Foreign Affairs underlined that Indonesia's mission to all over the world are the forefront of Indonesia's economic diplomacy. And therefore, this event is timely and in line with the program of national government to advance economic recovery. Now, based on those key points, I'd like to ask you a question.
Okay.
Why do you think that Indonesia Investment Day 2020 would contribute significant values to support Indonesia's economic recovery?
So there are 2 points. The first point is, of course, as presented by all of the dignitaries, the minister, the governor of Central Bank, as well as the chairman of the Investment Coordinating Board, on the commitment of the government of Indonesia to continue improving the environment for doing business in Indonesia, as well as continue inviting the investors because of the potentials. I think this is really a very strong message that everybody has to pick up. And we are grateful that all of the institutions, relevant institutions in Indonesia are participating in this endeavor. And this is also what we are doing here in Singapore. We are emphasizing on Indonesia Incorporated, where we are involving all of the stakeholders, including here the Central Bank Representative Office, the Investment Coordinating Board Office in Singapore, to join with us in grabbing this momentum, as well as in utilizing the opportunity to invest to Indonesia. Number 2, we have seen, as presented also before, that despite the pandemic, the investment realization in the first quarter is increased as compared to the same period last year. And this is really indicating a strong interest from investors, especially from Singapore. We see an increase of investment to Indonesia. Number 2, we also see that there are more and more companies, as announced by the president in the inauguration of the new industrial zone in Batam, in Central Java, that there are at least 7 companies that's already coming to Indonesia, and there are around 17. And of course, we would like to have even more. And in this context, the position of the Embassy of the Republic of Indonesia in Singapore, we are certainly ready to collaborate with the Singapore government, with the Singapore businesses here in Singapore, to grab this opportunity. And this is the reason why the Indonesia Investment Day 2020 is having a very meaningful role.
Thank you for the explanation. Now, the second question will be about today's event.
Yeah.
So what are the specific characteristics of this event that makes it unique and efficient?
Yeah. As you know, that everybody is, the world is now under the pandemic, and the world is now under the semi-lockdown. Traveling is very difficult because borders are still closed, but we see also the trend that virtual meetings is now becoming one of the new normal that we are going to see in the future. And that is the reason why we thought, with our team here at the embassy, as well as our colleague in Singapore, that we should also continue doing what we have been doing before. And we use this technology, we use this virtual technology to launch these events. And the uniqueness of this event is that despite that we are not going to meet physically, but then we will organize series of webinars starting from August, where many investors has the opportunity to interact with the government officials from the 11 provincial government to find out what are the projects, whether the project is something that of their interest, and of course asking a lot of questions that they may have also in their mind, so as to clear the path for them to come to that provinces to invest. And this series of webinars will be culminated into the main event itself in October. But at the same time, we also provide through this technology a platform for people to ask questions related to issues of taxation, issues of legal, issues of manpower, and so on and so forth. We are trying to put all those questions to be responded by the relevant authorities. So then investors have a very clear idea. We know that, as I mentioned in my remarks, that everybody are still very much focusing on addressing the pandemic, but at the same time, we also need to start the transition toward economic recovery, which is also very important for all countries, including also here in Indonesia.
Thank you. So this is also shows to the world that we are ready to incorporate digital technology in our economy.
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
So now we have to announce to the audience first that there are around 500 attendees have joined us today. So it's very grateful to have all of you join us today.
Thank you very much for joining.
Yeah. And then also we have a media representative from Indonesia and Singapore who are ready to forward their questions today to you, Ambassador Grace. I hope you're ready for that question. So I will now give the opportunity to RRI, Radio Republik Indonesia, to forward your question to Ambassador Ngurah. Okay, maybe we're going to go on to our next question, will be from Straits Times. So for this one, I'm going to read the question for Ambassador Ngurah. Selamat siang, I am Arlina, journalist with the Straits Times Singapore. Thank you for holding this Investment Day conference in these challenging times. I have two questions. One, how has COVID-19 affected the flow of trade and investment between Singapore and Indonesia? And what steps are being taken to reduce disruptions? And then the second question, Nongsa Digital Park and Hang Nadiem Airport in Batam have been designated as special economic zone recently. I would like to know what tax incentives and exemptions will be provided for investors under the new SAZ or CAC in Bahasa Indonesia status. Also, will planned infrastructure projects such as the Padang Bintan Bridge be postponed in light of the pandemic or continue as planned?
Thank you very much. Hi, Arlina. It's good to see you again virtually. And thank you for the question that you posed to me. The first question concerning the pandemic, how this is impacting or affecting the investment and trade from Indonesia to Singapore bilaterally. We are very proud to note that despite the pandemic, we see an increase if you compare the implementation of the first quarter of foreign direct investment from Singapore to Indonesia, you compare with the same period last year. The increase is 58%. And Singapore remains #1 foreign direct investors to Indonesia. And if you look at the percentage, it's still, I think it's higher than the average percentage. Normally it's about 30% of the all of the foreign direct investment coming to Indonesia. But for the first quarter, it has been increased, becoming around 40% of the total foreign direct investment. So we see still something is happening and very encouraging. This is a very strong signals. But of course, for the second term of the second quarter, we are waiting for the announcement, which is going to be made by the chairman of the BKPM after our events this morning. And I still have a very strong feeling that perhaps the number will not be the same with the first quarter, but we still see the realization which is still higher as compared to the same period last year. And that is on the investment. On the trade, we are also very happy to note that the Indonesian export to Singapore is increasing in the past few months from January to May. And if we look at the non-oil, products, so we see an increase of Indonesian export to Singapore, And this is, I think, very encouraging. And the surplus of the non-oil and gas export to Indonesia, to Singapore from Indonesia is almost $500 million US dollars. And this is a good signal. And we hope that this is continuing, of course, bearing in mind that the situation may not be in favorable for us. Number two, I think this is also a good news, especially for Singaporean businesses, because Batam, Bintan, and Karimun is having a special meaning for Singaporeans. And we are very happy to note that finally the government provided the status of special economic zones to Nongsa. And Nongsa is one of the digital hub in Indonesia with the Nongsa Digital Park. And with the airport that is also going to be developed as one of the MRO facility, maintenance, repair and overhaul. With this special economic zone status, of course, there will be a lot of incentive, there will be a lot of benefits, and there will be some sort of a special treatment. And we hope that this is really offer a lot of opportunity for Singapore business people, as well as the international businesses resides in Singapore to consider seriously Batam, Bintan, and Karimun. So that is specific. What are the benefits? Of course, tax incentive in terms of tax holiday, something like that will be available. And one thing that I would like to also underline here, the commitment of my brother, Adinda Lahaldia, Bahlil Lahaldia, is very clear that he and his team will help you to go through in trying to overcome if there are problems you are facing, investors facing in the implementation of the investment. So, and the Minister for Foreign Affairs has already announced the team, the ad hoc team that is established at the ministry, which is going to be working very closely day to day, if necessary 24/7, to facilitate investment to come to Indonesia. So this is really very encouraging.
Okay, thank you, Ambassador. Now, we are going to see another question from our chat box. It's from CNBC. So good afternoon. I'm Rehia Sabayang from CNBC Indonesia. I want to ask, one, after Singapore got caught up in the recession in the second quarter, what is the government's view on economic growth in Q3? Are you sure there will be a recovery? Can you please elaborate what are the targets of both parties from this collaboration?
I'm very happy. Just before this event, I have interviewed with CNBC Indonesia, and it was really a very interesting discussion that we have. Of course, technically Singapore has already been entering into recession, and if there are any recovery, it will not going to be a significant recovery. But one thing for sure that I think Singapore just finished their elections, and then I think we have a very solid mandate from the people to continue further. And I think the government will really focus on addressing the pandemic as well as trying to recover the economy. But one thing that is very clear here, despite of the situation in terms of the economic growth in Singapore, we still see an increase. And we hope that in investment, we hope that with the announcement later today, we still see a very strong signals. And I also note that the Prime Minister of Singapore mentioned earlier during the election campaign that investment from other countries to Singapore is also very strong. And here, I think we would like to tap the opportunity on how we will be able to facilitate and direct investment to come to the region, because the region is offering a lot of potentials, not only 260 million people of Indonesia, but 600 million people with a growing purchasing power. But we still have a pandemic. But in the future, I think this is something that makes us really very encouraged and very optimistic.
Okay. So we still have questions from Richard Borsuk, a journalist who long ago was the Wall Street Journal's bureau chief in Indonesia. So Ambassador Ngurah, you said that Singapore investment in Indonesia increased 58% in Q1 from a year earlier. When will the figures for Q2 come available? Because it is in the second quarter that pandemic started taking a big toll on Indonesia. And it's difficult to imagine many investors starting Indonesia projects now when it isn't possible to go to Indonesia.
Well, as I mentioned later today, after our events, the chairman of the coordinating board of investment of Indonesia will announce the figure of the second quarter. And I've got, my intel told me that, the realization is perhaps a little bit, smaller as compared to the first quarter, but we still see a very optimistic number. And if we compare with the same period last year, the second quarter last year, we still see an increase. And Singapore remains number one foreign direct investment to investors to Indonesia. Of course, in terms of the border closing, we have facilities exception that has already been enacted into the regulation issued by the Ministry of Law and Human Rights of Indonesia. There are some exceptions for foreigners to come to Indonesia. If this is involving national priority projects, of course, we will be able to receive the essential business travelers. But with a very strong caveat, a very strong health protocol that has to be applied. And also, if we are talking about investors who are materializing the investment projects, we will, based on case-by-case situations, we will certainly facilitate for them to start the projects, preparation as well as to start the project running. And this is not something that we are only hoping. This is already happening on the field, as we saw from the investors. Most of the investors that we presented in the testimony are in fact investors who just starting to set up the factory in East Java, in Central Java, as well as in Batam. And we also received a lot of questions, and they asked our facilitation for their investment to start the constructions as well as their preparation. And in the past webinar we organized, we also know that, for example, Canal Industrial Park, there are 4 companies from China, from Japan. Instead of slowing down because of the pandemic, they would like to expedite the process so then they can start production sometime at the end of this year. So this is something that is very, very pessimistic, and I would like to invite the businesses to also take this into account.
And I think today's platform, the one that we launched there, will be one of the ways to facilitate the discussion.
Exactly. Yeah. So, if you would like to have projects that has already been clean and clear in terms of the land acquisition, in terms of the licensing and so on and so forth, please visit the website, learn by yourself, and discuss directly with the project's owner. If this is something of your interest, of course, we will be able to facilitate if you need us to facilitate. But at the same time, we also open for new investment outside all of those projects. For certain, President Joko Widodo is prioritizing now on the pharmaceutical industries, and the state-owned companies are ready, as well as the private sectors are ready. The industry for medical, supplies is also one of the priorities. In addition to that, of course, Industry 4.0, we know that when we are talking about e-mobility, I think Indonesia is moving toward as the largest lithium battery producers in the world. This is going to also very much complement to the e-mobility industry in Indonesia.
Okay. Another question from RRI, Radio Republik Indonesia, Mr. Rifai. Okay, so I'm Rifai from Radio Republik Indonesia. There are two questions. One, in this pandemic, what will Indonesia offer to get an investment from the Singapore investor? Is there any specified need of investing because of this pandemic? Number two, in this situation, Singapore still do the circuit breaker. When will they open it? Because Batam needs tourists.
Yeah. On the first question, of course, as I mentioned earlier, the healthcare, pharmaceutical industry, medical supplies is one of the priority. Digital economy is also one of the priority that we would like to invite investors coming from Singapore to Indonesia. But in addition to that, when we are facing the situation, food is also very important. And we would like also to collaborate, to invite investors in investing in agriculture, so that it will be, it will be essential in terms of the supply chains of the agricultural products. These are some of the priorities that we would like to attract the foreign direct investment coming from Singapore. On the circuit breaker, as well as the closure of the borders, of course, this is the policy of every government. We will certainly facilitate communication between the two governments on how we are going to be able to really facilitate the movement of people. But the most important thing, as we are still focusing on the pandemic, is the issue of health protocol. And I think we are, in Indonesia, we are ramping up the testing capacity. Just now we heard that we are also participating in the third phase of the testing of the vaccine in Indonesia. We hope that, with this strong collaboration with many countries, with support of each other, we will be able to overcome this pandemic. And this will certainly open up the borders later on.
Yeah. Okay. The next question will be from IDN Times, Jakarta. I'm Santi Dewi. I have a question. How Indonesian government convince Singaporean investor while we face the pandemic, which the situation isn't getting better yet. So is it safe to invest and visit Indonesia?
Oh yeah, of course. I know Santi Dewi. He's been a reporter. We are working very closely with him before. Yeah, of course. Although the number is still high, but we have to understand that Indonesia is comprised of 34 provinces. And perhaps in the biggest province, the number is still high. But there are other provinces that the number is zero, the green zone. So we need to look at this in general, in totality. And there are improvement. And so long as you are comply with the health protocol, I think we are convinced that we are relatively safe. But then, of course, we need to still be very cautious because this virus is unseen. We cannot even detect. And what we need to do is, I think, the advice that has already been provided by the government is very crucial for us to follow. And that really, makes us safer. We hope that it will be, getting better very soon because the president has already been forming another task force that is addressing the, issue of pandemic as well as economic recovery.
Okay. Thank you, Ambassador. We still have time for our last question, and it will be from one of the attendees today. We are trying to see. So now, okay. Selamat pagi. I am Andrew from Tuah and Suparto Law Firm. Number one question. In light of the COVID-19 pandemic, how will this affect the timeline pertaining to the various government investments on planned infrastructure projects? Number two, we are all excited to hear about the omnibus bill currently in deliberation. Any expected timeline as to when it will be passed into law?
Yeah, very interesting questions. Number one, infrastructure, I think, is still ongoing now when we are talking about infrastructure project. And this is still in the portfolio of the government priorities to continue improving the infrastructure facilities. The second question is, of course, as a democratic country, the bill is now being deliberated by the parliament. We are hoping that the parliament will conclude their deliberation sooner rather than later. And what is important here that we hope that this is really an agreement by all of the stakeholders in Indonesia to really address the situation, because this is really a special time for us in terms of the challenges that we are facing. We need to have a special effort. We need to have unity among all of the countries, all of the stakeholders in Indonesia. And that is the reason why I think we are very grateful to have 11 provinces supporting us in this endeavor. And we hope that we will be able, in a smaller part, we can contribute to continue helping to contribute the economic recovery, including also not only investment, but also on the trade issues. We are going to move forward. So once again, thank you very much. Thank you very much for being with me, with us, and also thank you for all of the audience, each and every one of you. I cannot mention, of course, you are around 400 people in the Zoom, and I think many more in the YouTube. But let me use this opportunity from the bottom of my heart to really thank you all for your continuous support, and also to thank you all for your friendship as well as your commitment. We hope that together we will be able to overcome this problem, and together we will be able to expedite the economic recovery, which should be beneficial for all of the people all over the world. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, audience. Thank you very much. Really appreciate that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ambassador Ngurah, for your time today. Again, in every crisis, there is opportunity.
Yes.
Yes. So hopefully today will give us a strong spirit of opportunity to get our move forward with a very optimistic spirit. And of course, thank you very much to our partners and media representatives who already forward their questions to Ambassador Ngurah. So finally, Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of our Q&A session. Once again, we'd like to thank you very much for your participation in the virtual grand launching Road to the Third Indonesia Investment Day 2020. And to conclude today's event, we would like to present a video titled Indonesia as the Rising Economic Powerhouse. I am Valina Daniel. May peace and prosperity be upon us. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam. Thank you.
If you strive to see further what is in front of you, then you'll see the bigger picture. You'll see the potential growth and the economic powerhouse. You will discover the authentic culture in young crowd. You'll see the power of technology. You'll build the bridge between the past and the future. In the world where everything is digitalized, every journey counts. Be part of ours.
Tidak kulupakan, kan terkenal selama hidupku. Biarpun saya pergi jauh, tidakkan hilang dari kalbu. Tanahku yang ku cintai, engkau ku hargai. walau